emotional, physical health, right, then they certainly would allow it. Rav Moshe would not. Psychiatric illness, right? The mother's going to be destroyed, distraught, going through terrible, terrible mental challenges, right? Depression, who knows what. So once again, according to Rav Moshe, that would not be an allowance. According to the Tzitz Eliezer, the Maharit, right, then it would be allowed.
Is it all in the first 3 months we're talking about?
No, not all, yes, not necessarily. A case came to the Tzitz Eliezer. There's a woman who is dying from a disease that is no longer treatable, but she'll die earlier because of her pregnancy. She was pleading to be allowed to continue the pregnancy, even though this would shorten her life. She wanted to leave a child. I don't know if she had other children or not, but she wanted to have this child, even if that meant shortening her own life. Right? And he said that we can passively allow the pregnancy to continue. We don't have to jump in. She can decide that she does not want to abort and extend her life. That's called chaye sha'ah, temporary life. Now, going in the other direction, there was a pregnant woman who had lung cancer. The doctor said if the pregnancy was not terminated, it would cause a quicker spread of cancer throughout her body and bring about an earlier death. Whereas they were not able to control this. Right? This was going to take her life. The question was, how fast? Right? If they would abort the fetus, then she would live a little bit longer. In this case, and either way, the child was not going to be viable, was not going to live. She was not going to live long enough for this child to reach the point of viability. So when it comes to the laws of Shabbos, we break Shabbos, even if the person is going to die. But it will help give chaye sha'ah, temporary life. It will add a little bit of time to that person, right? If there's a slight possibility of extending someone's life, then we must break Shabbos and take care of that life. That's how we view chaye sha'ah, right? That's how we view chaye sha'ah. And therefore, if this is saving her life for that period of time, and therefore that would be allowed. Another woman with cancer, and if she's going to receive her cancer treatment that she needs, that will end up killing the fetus, even though it only grants her chaye sha'ah, right? Only give her temporary life. So then she has that choice. She can decide, like the other woman we mentioned before, that she wants the child to reach viability, right? Or not, right? The option is hers, according to Torah Hayoledet, in such a tragic case. The case we mentioned before of a mamzer, the ben ish chai, mamzer is that illegitimate child who's going to go through life as an illegitimate child and cause tremendous mental anguish to the family.
Rabbi, how would anyone know? I mean, if this adulterous situation happened and it was illicit but secret, how would the husband not know that it wasn't his child?
The husband's been in prison with no with no parole. And the wife becomes pregnant. And in our religion, it can only happen one way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Okay. Right? So the Ben Ish Chai was asked whether a married woman who became pregnant for another man could drink medication to abort a 5-month-old fetus. He said, I will not give you my opinion. I will lay out for you the opinions that are there. The Chavat Yair said that one should not permit it. The Yavitz said it's allowed and may even be the right thing to do, a mitzvah. The Ma'arit permits it when there is a need to do so for the mother's sake. But he was not going to say what applies in that situation. In the case of rape, Rachmana litzlan. So, in today's world, there are things that can be, steps that can be taken within a day or two afterwards to prevent contraception, to prevent conception. Right? There is, to prevent conception. There are steps that can be taken. That is certainly, I think they say within 72 hours. Right? So that's certainly allowed, because that's not taking the life, but that is preventing it from fertilization. Okay? Right? An IUD, also, that helps to prevent implantation into the uterine wall. Right? In a case where we're beyond that point, so then once again, the only allowance it would seem would be, according to the view of the Tzitz Eliezer, that when there is this tremendous anguish that a person is going to go through, then that is considered to be grounds.
Is the prevention of conception just for the rape cases or allowed in general? Before 72 hours?
Great question.
I'm not having children, but I'd like to know.
That's probably more of a case-by-case situation. Yeah. Yeah,
if you're
that's
preventing conception, then why would it matter?
I'll have a talk with you later.
No, halachically, why would it matter? If you're not really allowing it to happen.
But then you're wasting seed, aren't you?
Well, yes and no. Well,
That's a good point, too.
marital relations is never considered to be wasting seed, whether or not that is going towards the possibility of a pregnancy. Right? A woman could be on the pill. Right? There are different types of contraception which are halachically allowed. Again, it depends on the different situations. That's not, or a woman is pregnant, and right, or a woman is postmenopausal, right? So then, right, any time that there is marital relations, that's never considered to be wasting seed. That's considered to be an intrinsic part of a healthy relationship, and it's not wasting seed, it's building relationship.
Also contractual obligation on the man.
There's obligation on both the man and the wife to engage in intimacy with one another. Yeah. Yes?
It is my understanding that often children that are going to be born with deficiencies, it's because the last wife, they did not fully accomplish what they needed to accomplish, and now they going to have a short term to...
There's a lot of Kabbalistic thought and explanations, and Who knows?
My basic question was, if that's the case, then how do we determine how much anguish the mother's going through in the
Yeah, so
relationship?
in a few minutes we'll come to a conclusion, a tshuva from Rav Moshe about that. Okay? But, but at least according to Tzitz Eliezer, the person needs to be able to handle it.
Mhm.
And if they can't handle it, then they can't handle it. And Hashem will need to find, right, according to that Kabbalistic view, Hashem will need to find another venue for this soul to experience whatever it needs to experience.
Well, what
But
about the view that Hashem never gives us more than we can handle?
so if halachically I'm able to terminate it, so then,
Ah, okay.
right?
So that's how you're handling it.
Yeah. Right? Hashem never gives more than we can handle, but if we're sick, we go to a doctor,
Yes.
right? Because that all works within the framework of the hashgacha pratis, of the individual providence. And yes, so I'm supposed to go through this pain and then go to the doctor and take care of it. Okay? The last case before we come to the conclusion is multiple pregnancy and fetal reduction. Case of a woman who was pregnant with sextuplets. Rosh Shlomo Zalman Auerbach Zatzal said that it would be permitted to abort some of the fetuses in order to save the others. Another case through IVF, a woman became pregnant with quadruplets, and the doctors said that she cannot continue the quadruple pregnancy because of a small pelvis, and Rav Shlomo Zalman again permitted her to have one or two of the fetuses aborted as necessary. Right? Where a multiple pregnancy has a high risk of ending in the miscarriage of all of the fetuses, each fetus has the halachic status of a rodef. Each one is pursuing the other. So the doctor may remove some of them to save the others, and choosing those that, according to his assessment, will cause the least risk of losing all of the fetuses in the process. Rav Moshe Feinstein addressed a question posed to him by a woman, a mother of 2 children, whose defect, unspecified defect, produced illness, suffering, and death by age 2. Children that she had went through this horrific situation and died by age 2. She was asking about future pregnancies, right? Can they just sort of close up shop and not continue with this? He said, from the aspect of the mother, she can decide that she cannot handle this and can prevent future pregnancies. But from the perspective of the child, it is better for the child to be born than to not be born. That one who is born can enter the world to come from the time of birth. So there is an inherent value that a child has, right? That's as an infant. As a fetus, that is, as we saw, subject to much, much debate. All of the opinions are really focused on the very same point, and that is the value and the sanctity of life. Is it the life of the fetus? Is it the life of the mother? That's where they're arguing. It's really the flip side of the same idea. It is the incredible value that we place on life. Rabbi Sachs writes over and over how we are a religion and society that does not glorify death. It's all about ubacharta b'chayim. We have to choose life. And all these different opinions are just different, like the lights going through the prism and being broken up into all these different aspects of life. And which aspect of life is it that is overriding in these situations? But the overriding concept is the value, the importance of life, and the gift that life is, not just life, but as we saw, Chaye Shah, as every moment of life is. And in a situation where, lo aleinu, where a couple is considering, for whatever reason, right, usually challenging, difficult reasons, is considering an abortion, so a real, very serious halachic question and investigation needs to be explored with people with much broader shoulders than mine, and to reach a decision on what to do, or what can be done, or what should be done, because we're talking about life, and there is no greater value that we have than that. Okay, my friends, we'll call it over here.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen to